Here is a sketch of a curve. The equation of the curve is y equals x squared plus ax plus b, where a and b are integers. The points 0, -5 and 5, 0 lie on the curve. Find the coordinates of the turning point of the curve. So the first thing we'll need to do for this question is work out the value of both a and b. And to do this we can substitute in these coordinates in place of y and x in the equation. So using the coordinates 0, -5, x will be equal to 0 and y will be equal to -5. So this means that the equation y equals x squared plus ax plus b will be -5 is equal to 0 squared plus 0a plus b. And when we simplify this down, this tells us that -5 is equal to b. So now what we can do is use the coordinate 5, 0 and the value of b we just worked out, and again substitute these into this equation. So this time x will be equal to 5, y will be equal to 0 and b will be equal to -5. And this gives us that 0 is equal to 5 squared plus 5a minus 5. And this simplifies down to 0 is equal to 20 plus 5a. And now what we're going to want to do is rearrange this to make a the subject. So first we can minus 20 from both sides, which tells us that -20 is equal to 5a. And then secondly we can divide both sides by 5, giving us that -4 is equal to a. So therefore the equation y equals x squared plus ax plus b will be y is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 5. And now we can move on to finding the turning point of the curve. So the turning point of a curve is either the lowest or the highest point of a quadratic. So in this case, because the x squared is positive, the turning point will be this point here. And this means that it will be the lowest possible value of y. So to work out the coordinates of the turning point, what we're going to need to do to this equation is something called completing the square. So the general formula when completing the square is y equals x plus a over 2 all squared minus a over 2 squared plus b. And this is applicable where y equals x squared plus ax plus b. So when completing the square on y equals x squared minus 4x minus 5, we'll need to use this principle. Now this may look complicated at first, however it should make more sense when we substitute in the numbers. So the first thing we'll need to do is work out what to put inside of the brackets. So we'll always have an x on the inside of the brackets, and then what we're going to want to do is divide the value of a by 2. So the value of a in y equals x squared minus 4x minus 5 is -4. So therefore a over 2 will be -2. Now the next step of completing the square is to minus a over 2 squared. So this will mean minusing -2 squared. And the reason we minus a over 2 squared from this bracket is because if we were to expand out x minus 2 squared, this would give us x squared minus 4x plus 4. However, we want this part of the equation to be equal to x squared minus 4x. So therefore we minus the 2 squared so that we can add on the b, but making sure that this equation is still equal to x squared minus 4x minus 5. So now the final thing we need to do is add on the value of b, and the value of b is -5. So now the next thing we need to do is simplify this down. So we want to leave the brackets as they are, and then -2 squared is equal to 4, and -4 minus 5 is equal to -9. So this is the format of the equation which we'll want to use when finding the coordinate of the turning point. And as we said before, the turning point is when the y value is at its lowest. So what we want to work out is the smallest value of y that we can possibly make by substituting any value of x into this equation. And because we have this x minus 2 squared here, the smallest value we can make by squaring a number is 0. So we're going to want to make this bracket equal to 0. And to do this we can substitute in the value x equals 2. And this gives us that y is equal to 0 squared minus 9, meaning y is equal to negative 9. So what this means is that the smallest possible value of y, which we can make from this equation, is negative 9. And the x-coordinate of this is 2. So therefore the turning point of the coordinate is 2, negative 9. Now this question's worth 4 marks. We'll get our first mark for substituting in the coordinate 0, negative 5 in order to work out one of the constants. We'll get a second mark for a complete process to work out both of the constants, a and b. We'll get our third mark for completing the square on this equation. And we'll get our fourth mark for the correct coordinates.